Welcome back to the channel. Is the Turkey economy at the brink of collapse? Why? Because in recent times, the Turkish lira has crashed to a record low of 13.4 lira to $1. And it seems as if inflation is on the horizon. The question is, why? What happened to Turkey, once described by economists as the world's newly industrialized countries? Wow. Stay tuned. Let us examine what could be responsible for this ongoing development. Grab a cuppa, of course, a cup of tea, and then subscribe. As I speak, the lira continues to crash against the dollar, meaning no end in sight to this ongoing saga. Perhaps you would like to know what triggered the crash of the lira. Stay with me, let me explain. The decline in the lira began after Turkish President Erdogan advised or compelled the central bank to cut the interest rate, and continues to defend what he terms, quote, economic war of independence, end quote. However, while the president considers his policy as a way forward, a good experiment if you like, many school of thoughts, entrepreneurs or investors have condemned his action and call it an, quote, irrational experiment, end quote. Stay tuned. Let us examine further why the president implemented this policy. You see, the president does not subscribe to the idea of high borrowing cost. He believed and said the cut in interest rates this year to, and I quote, 15% will spur investment, increase job prospect, and boost the economy, end quote. He shares the notion that high interest rate is detrimental to the Turkish economy. Listen to his statement. Again, I quote, "I reject policy that will contract our economy, weaken it, condemn our people to unemployment, hunger, and poverty," end quote. Wow. That said, well, if you ask me my opinion about it, I would say from a human and well-being perspective, he has good intentions for his citizens. Yep. Okay, now let us examine the effect of the economic policy implemented by the president. By cutting the interest rate. Well, according to the latest statistics, inflation in Turkey is now near 20%. Okay, let me break it down. You see, an increase in inflation translates into high prices, where virtually everything is expensive in the economy. Now, with increase in inflation, Turkish citizen purchasing power, yes, you heard me, the lira will reduce. Consequently, the GDP, yes, will decrease. And if the GDP decrease further, guess what? GDP turns negative, hence inflation becomes inevitable. I think you get the picture. And from the look of things, this narrative or playbook, if you like, is already manifesting in Turkey. Okay, you need to hear this for perspective. You see, according to data, in 2009, the lira was trading at $1 to 5.6 lira. You get what I mean? And in 2021, due to the policy, it is now trading at 13.4 lira to $1. Besides, the weakness in the lira raises inflation via Turkey's heavy ports. And this, let me quote this again. And I quote, "In addition to the recent import price based cost factors, demand conditions, supply constraint in some sector, and high level of inflation expectation continue to pose risks to the pricing behavior and inflation outlook. End quote. This is the statement from the Bank Policy Committee in recent statement. Therefore, as the economy declines, the lira crashes and inflation looms large, it is obvious the economy is not yielding the desired result projected by the president. Yes, you admit. Now, however, to inform you, this method is being called unorthodox management of the economy by investors. Consequently, some of them are now checking out of the country and are now moving elsewhere. Besides, some banks across the country stop currency transaction, fearing that the steep fall in lira value could spark a run on reserves, according to local newspaper reports. And it may surprise you to hear that because of the ongoing development, Apple, yes, you heard me, Apple stopped selling iPhone and other products in Turkey as the lira plunges further. Wow. And listen to this. This was by this former central bank deputy governor who Erdogan, the president, dismissed in October. And I quote, these are not my words. I said, and I quote, we need to abandon this irrational experiment which has no chance of success and return to quality policies that will protect the value of Turkish lira and protect the welfare of the Turkish people, end quote, was a tweet by two men recently. However, from the look of things, the president policy might not change. Listen to this. Why? Because, and I'm going to quote again, and I quote, the central bank is a puppet of the government at the moment. Wow. Very interesting. Inflation is running at 20% year on year, and you have Erdogan, president, at the controls, which means that even at 12.75, we are likely not even close to done with this move yet, end quote. And please listen to this. It is very, very interesting. You see, in the midst of this saga, Bitcoin become very relevant and reliable digital asset in Turkey. It has reached all-time high as Libra plunges. It was one time at 70,000 and now it's at $100,000. Wow. So, all talks in the house. What do you think is the way forward? I'd like to hear from you. Okay, now, here comes the best part. Subscribe, like, and comment. Remember, the goal is to generate wealth, build companies, and then create jobs. Bye now. See you soon.